What's up, guys? This is Eric Ellison with Olympus Home, and you're listening to Only Roofers.
Welcome to the Only Roofers podcast. My name's Elizabeth, and I have my co-host Vince here.
Hi, guys.
And we are interviewing Eric Ellison.
Got it right?
Yeah.
There we go.
Yes, correct.
With Olympus Roofing?
Olympus Home.
Olympus Home.
Olympus Home.
Yep.
Okay, so tell us a little bit about Olympus Home. It's a great, powerful name.
So we started in 2019, in
Wow.
the last quarter of 2019. So our first, whatever
Tough
that was.
time to get into it.
Yeah, and so we had our last big storm in the upstate of South Carolina was 2017. We had a big storm. We've had a couple little inch and a half, but not really
Gotcha.
causing any damage, just giving us a hell date. And so when we started in 2019, I don't know what we did in revenue that first
Last quarter, basically.
I don't know what it was, but
Yeah.
I can pull it up. But in any event, our first full year, 12 months, I think we did like
COVID.
Yes, so we did 5.7 our first full 12
Wow.
months. Yeah, our
During
first 12
COVID.
During COVID.
Yeah, during COVID was great for us. People were at home, so we're knocking doors and they're all at home. We
Year
don't have-
one, 5.7, and
5.7.
COVID.
Yeah,
Wow.
and so I'm gonna say this because I've heard other people like Lee Haight and stuff say
Right.
that usually what roofers say they did, you can cut that in half and then probably again. When we say we do numbers with the system that we run, I can show you the contract and the invoices, check numbers for every dollar of that.
We
You're
believe you.
You're
No, I know,
5.7.
but-
This isn't the
I
Lee
know-
Hay Show. This is the Only Roofers
Oh, for
podcast.
sure. I just don't want
Yeah,
people to
We
be like, this
believe you.
dude's full of it, because it's the truth, I swear.
Yeah,
So-
no, we believe you.
Let's talk about that first year. 5.7.
Yeah.
That's a big number for
Yes.
for year one, and then it's a big year. I would think with COVID and everything like that. Let's
Yes.
talk about it.
Yeah.
What was your COVID hits early February, mid February? What's the game plan to
Yeah.
get to 5.7? Or you didn't change a thing?
No, I didn't do anything different. Just keep grinding.
Kept
keep
the
doing
course.
same, just stay doing the same thing. People were just
Did you
home.
guys not knock doors for any time? Were people more hesitant to open at all?
Hazmat suits.
No, I mean, in that market, so we kept a close eye on it and what the feedback we were getting from homeowners. So we kind of changed the door knock approach a little bit. We would just kind of stay away from the door a little bit
Okay.
more. So when they opened the door, we were, that 6 feet or whatever the guidelines were at that time, we were trying to maintain
Were you
that
wearing
distance.
masks or like what was it?
To be honest with you, I can't remember because we were running at that time. We had like 18 sales reps, so
Wow.
I'm sure some of them
Whoa.
were doing it, some of them were. I wasn't really sure because we did 5.7 in our first year. There was a lot of systems that we didn't have in place yet
Yes.
to
Right.
manage
Hey,
5.7.
here's a shirt. We're from Olympus Home.
Yeah.
Hi, welcome.
Yeah, and so there's a lot of things that we didn't have figured out. So it was everything we could do just to get all the jobs built and try to make sure the customer service rate was good and doing all the things that we needed to do to perform at
How
that
were
level.
you scaling the office?
Yeah,
side
like
of
that
Like,
scales
holy
fast.
moly, I can't even
So-
imagine the paperwork from 18 sales reps not doing one thing.
Yeah.
If all 18 sold 2 or 3 roofs that week
Right.
and messed up 1 or 2 things on each contract.
So for us,
Jeez.
Olympus runs a good bit different than probably most roofing companies.
Yeah.
Our sales reps are responsible for just a few things. Go knock the door, inspect the roof, file the claim, get it approved, get a shingle color, and send us the office the scope, and then you're done. You don't ever have to talk to that person again.
Okay.
We handle everything after we have the scope, a shingle color. We
So
take
you
care-
have actual project managers, not sales reps that are project managers.
Yes. So our sales reps sell, and that's it. And then we have an on-site project manager who's bilingual, that communicates with our crews to make sure
Wow.
that the
Nice.
site goes on well. Our gutters are in-house, so we have our own gutter machine and control the labor for that as well.
What was your background before Olympus? Because I don't think you scaled that fast, not
Yeah.
knowing anything about roofing.
So I was in roofing. I got into roofing in 2017.
That
But-
is still very new.
Yeah,
So-
that was in 2017. I partnered up with a guy out of Georgia,
Okay.
and we worked the storm. I was new, so I didn't really capitalize the way I should have. I think what we did in that storm was probably 2 or 3 million, but I was new, and the guy
Right.
was old school. So,
Mm.
so when the first time that I signed a contract, I was like, I don't know what any of this stuff means, and he's like, just go do it, just go sign the contract. And I'm like, bro, I don't even know what a 3-tab is. Like, I don't know what that is.
I don't know what
does
I
that
just
mean?
sold.
Yeah, so it was a difficult learning process, but I learned by fire. And
Okay.
and so in 2017 I did that, and then I was a part of another company, and then that eventually there was a separation there, and then so when we started Olympus, me and my business partner now Josh,
Right.
we started Olympus, and then it just kind of take
What
off.
is your business partner's role in the whole thing? What does he manage and
So-
what do you?
So we're really good at, I think, partnerships. I think you really have to be clear with who's 1 and 2, and,
Yep.
and we're really clear with that. I'm 1, he's 2. He's comfortable in that position, I'm comfortable in mine, and we operate efficiently with that. So I'm building a lot of the structure, a lot of the forecasting of what we need to do and how we grow the company and,
Right.
and set the path. And he's doing a lot of the back end stuff of you know, the stuff that people don't get to talk about, and I'm going to give him a shout out because there's so much stuff that he does.
Shout out to you. What's his name?
Josh.
Yeah,
Shout out to
because
Josh.
it's great to push the company forward, but if
Yeah.
you can't back it up or have structure for it,
Yeah.
it's all going to fail anyway.
And so he handles a lot of the stuff that's just boring, the worker comp audits, the insurance, and making sure we're staying the payroll taxes.
When
and
you
all
say
the-
it, you don't even sound excited about it.
Yeah.
I check out on those meetings. I don't do it. We just had a workers' comp audit last week. I didn't show up for the meeting. It just pisses me off. Like the whole process of it, of the red tape stuff, it just makes me mad. I know we have to do it, but I know I'm so bad at handling it. I just walk away
It's
because.
better for you not to
So
be
what
part
have
of
you
it.
done your whole life previous to 2017?
So.
Who are you?
Who are you?
So before 2017, I was a broke kid trying to figure stuff out, and
Wow.
really even into 2017.
How old are you?
I'm 30. I just turned 30 in November.
Oh, okay, you're young.
Okay.
So
I mean, I'm 25.
Come
So.
from the baby.
yeah, so I stepped out and tried to start my own thing. I was trying to sell stuff on Amazon.
Gotcha.
I made a little bit of money, but I didn't have a system to track it well. So I thought I was making money, but then at the end of the day, like I kept seeing the bank account go down, and so I was like, maybe we're not making money, babe. I was telling my wife, maybe we're not making money. I'm not sure. And so eventually we realized, no, we're for sure losing money. Like we're definitely not making anything. So I was like, okay, we have to do something else. Well, during this time,
Not laughing at your pain, but just
No.
laughing at
Yeah,
the.
like no, we're legit broke.
yeah, no, for sure broke. Like dead broke. Like there was a story. and I'm
Wow,
gonna-
and your wife was with you through this.
my wife, shout out to her because I mean,
Shout
without
out to your wife. What's your wife?
Kylie.
Kylie.
Shout out
Shout out
Kylie.
to Kylie.
Without her, I'm working in a factory right now or something. She pushed me to do stuff that I wouldn't have done otherwise, and I'm getting a little emotional honestly because
Aw.
It's amazing.
she's just done a lot for me. So, anyways, there were stories that happened during that time where a police officer knocked on our door one day. My wife didn't know because I tried to shield her from a lot of the bad stuff that was going on, and so a police officer knocked on my door. He was there to serve us a paperwork to show up to court because we didn't have the money to pay our bills.
That's right.
So people were starting to sue us and blah, blah, blah. And so the police officer, so I was like, hey, can you? So I walked the police officer over to an area where she couldn't see because I knew at that time there was nothing she could do to change the reality of the situation we're in. So the only thing that was going to do was cause her stress and worry. And she doesn't have an option to change it. So I just tried to put everything on my back. And it continued to get worse. I mean, we were behind on mortgage payments. I think we were like 7 or 8 months behind on our mortgage payments.
Wow.
It was really bad.
She
And then,
is what you call ride or die.
yeah. People will say, as they see us now, because now, we live in a 7,000 square foot home, but they don't know. So they'll say, you're with them for money or whatever. She's not with me for money because there was a long time that there was no money at all. And
Do you
so,
guys have kids?
What
yeah, we have one little boy. His name's Brantley.
what built up inside of you to turn that being broke in hard times and
Turn
people
your
coming at
life
you, turn your
around.
life around and build a successful business and change your stars?
So I think a little bit of it was a lot to do with my wife and her belief in that I was capable of doing it even when I didn't think I was. The other part of it was I was a poor kid growing up. And I don't want to say poor, but middle to lower class.
Right.
We had a lot of stuff repossessed growing up. And I had a good home. I always had clothes and stuff. It wasn't like that. But
Right.
we just didn't have a lot of money. I heard my parents argue about money a lot. And I had just enough exposure to a guy that owned some restaurants. And so I saw the way he lived and I saw the way that we lived. And I was like, I
want
promised myself when
It's available. I just don't have
yeah,
it.
I got to figure out how to get there. And then I would start meeting people and I'm like, hey man, like this he's no different than me. He's just a dude. And so
just
I
a
was,
dude.
He's just a dude that worked hard. And so I was like, I'm just going to put my head down and I'm just going to work. So back then I was probably working 75, 80-hour weeks and making $0. I was just learning. So now if you want to talk to me about Facebook ads, you want to talk to me about SEO, Amazon.
That was your education.
Yeah,
That was
I
your college tuition.
Yeah, that was my college tuition. Was my mortgage payments not getting paid? So
Yeah.
Love it. Thank you, Wells Fargo. No.
I was investing in training platforms on how to do things to try to make money and not paying my mortgage payment because I knew the only way that I was going to get to where I wanted to go, me making that mortgage payment, I was going to go broke at some point anyways. There was going to be a
That was
time-
inevitable.
Yeah, it was going to happen. So just go ahead and call it good. I'm
So
broke
how
now.
did you
Wow.
handle all that debt? Like, how were you able to, pay off all your bills, or what happened with the police officer? Like, what was next?
So
Like, what was it in between?
so when
Did you go to jail?
No, I never went to jail. No, I never went to jail.
Thank
I
God.
paid off all my creditors, by the way. Everybody's paid off. I told my wife when we started doing better that, okay, now we have to go back and fix the mistakes that I made, and we have to go pay these people. We have to go pay these people and make all that stuff right. And so we did all that, and now we don't owe anybody any money. But
Congrats.
but yeah. So
Yeah,
what was your question again? I'm sorry.
That was it. Like, what was the in between that?
So it
In
was
between
just
those people stressing you out.
in between what?
It was
Stressing
just
you out.
stressing.
Yeah,
Stress.
it was a lot of stress, but I stayed focused on the prize. Like I know eventually I'm gonna have a break, and when I have that break, it'll all be worth it, and it's fun. So for the people out there that are struggling, just know that it's a part of the process. Like, I also think that there were steps that I had to go through during that time. This made me into the person I am today. Had I not had to walk those paths and those struggles, I think I wouldn't have empathy with people and understand their fears of making a commitment. But I was there and I was afraid, and it went bad. You know, you hear so many stories of I took a risk and I quit my job and it turned out fantastic. Well, I did that and it turned out terrible, absolutely terrible. And it took years before we made that corner. And in so many ways, everybody.
How discouraging was it? You know, what made you stick to it?
I never really. Again, my wife. You know, in the parts where I was a little discouraged, my wife was like, you know, you're fine. You're going to make this happen. I believe in you. And so
Wow.
that support. Because when I say we were in debt, like I was doing, I used every available credit line from every person that would give me. There's little checks that you get in the mail that they're like, hey, you can deposit this for $1,500. Every one I got went straight to the bank, and then I would blow that money on some other stupid thing, and just trying to figure out a way to make money. And so,
Well, at least you're putting like investing in yourself.
yes,
You
yeah,
weren't buying shoes.
and I did that, and
You went broke going all in on you.
Yes, yeah, and I would say go all in on you as long as you believe in yourself and you have a support system to do it. You know, that story could turn out really different if I didn't have a supportive wife. If my wife was, nagging at me about how
Right.
we're going to
Yeah.
pay the bills, it's a much different story. I mean, we're probably not here today.
We're early in 2022.
Yep.
You have a very, very interesting background, a struggle into a success story.
Right.
What's something you could tell sales guys, business owners, guys getting into this business, jumping, or not even in this business, that come from that kind of background, that have the struggles, that have the monkey on their back of the debt and so on? Get out of it.
Work. I mean, I know this is going to go against the grain a little bit of what people say, but in my opinion, you got to put in time. There's nothing that you can substitute that time and effort and those hours that I was working back then.
So the 5.7 million in 2020
Mhm.
didn't happen because you guys started in 2019.
Yeah.
It's because you sacrificed and
Yes.
you did everything you possibly could
For the 4
to
years
get out
before
of
that.
it.
Yeah, because listen, the salespeople that were under
That's
me,
powerful.
the salespeople that were under me at that time, they believed in me. Well, I had to believe in myself first, and I had to prove to myself that I was worth believing in before I could convince somebody else to believe in me.
Right.
And so that passes on to them. They see that, hey, we can go crush this, we can go do it, and they feel that energy from me, that I believe that that's true. But I needed those years of struggle to see that I could actually make it happen, even if things weren't right. And so those years were critical, not from necessarily the knowledge I learned, which that too, but also just the self-development and growth in myself. Of once I got to that place, I do believe that you have to walk certain paths to be prepared when you get to the next stage in your life. And I think I had to go through some struggles so that I could handle the success in my life the right way and have some humility and
Right.
not just be the guy that makes money and is just out there saying, acting like I'm better than other people. I know what it's like to not have money. And so I don't ever want to discount somebody taking a risk.
You were able
or
to
taking a
relate
chance.
with your sales
Yes.
staff and really
Yes.
build them up as well.
Absolutely.
How
That's
many
amazing.
of them are still with you?
Right now, so we've actually kind of changed our model. There were, it's roofing, so you have a lot of turnover in sales staff. 80% of them don't work out. But right now, I think we have 7 is what we run now. But right now, our 7 are all high level producers. So we don't have anybody. Back then, we had 4 or 5 guys that were selling $150,000 a month, and then we had the 4 through 18 that were doing between 60 and 0 a month.
Yeah.
And so what was the problem was we were trying to manage too many people.
Yeah.
That became the problem. So I said we need to run 6 to 10 sales reps that are high producers that are consistently going to go out and sell. And nobody. So when I look at our sales graph, I don't want to see like this, and then just a fall off. I want to
Yeah.
see like
Plateau.
yeah,
You want to see everyone
close
banging away.
and that's what we have now. And so next year, and so we say 5.7 in 2020, right? Yeah, 20.
What was 2021?
No, yeah, 2021. So 2021, we took a step back. We did 4.7 last year. 4.7, and to be fair, that was a higher per square price, so it was way less in squares. I think we did like 16,000 squares in 2020. In 2021, I think we did like 12,000 or 13,000 squares. So
With less people on staff, better structured. Did you have
well, we
better
had a
peace of
little bit.
mind?
We had a little bit of a pop of a hailstorm in 2022, so that helped. Or 2020.
Right.
We had a little bit of hailstorm in the region.
Mhm.
It wasn't crazy, but it just
Enough.
gave us enough. And so we didn't have anything last year, nothing at all. So we still did 4.7, no storm, no big storms at 17. And so we were happy with that, and it was a big growth year. We brought, like I said, our gutters on staff, or all the different pieces that I felt like we
Right.
needed to service our customers the right way.
Yeah.
So what's the goal for 2022?
It depends on a storm, really. You know, I think if we get a storm, I think we'll be somewhere in the 10 to 15 million range. As I think what we'll do in a storm.
Because you're more agile.
Yeah, and we've built a brand and reputation now where we're known for stuff. We know
your name is great.
Yeah, and so everybody knows that all of our trucks are wrapped. You know, we do a good job with branding.
What made you think of that name, Olympus Home? Because that's really, I'm surprised that
wasn't taken.
Listen,
yeah.
It was olympushome.org is what we have. The .com's not available. So, but my opinion on this, when the name was originated, I was actually on vacation in Florida. My business partner, he was
Florida's
the best place ever.
Yeah, he was like, what do we want to call it? And I was like, bro, I don't care. Like, I don't think it matters. So
real branding guy.
Yeah, I don't care. Just give us a name. Let's put a logo and let's run with it. Like we don't need to spend time.
Yeah.
We need to spend
You're
time.
go.
Yeah, we need to spend time trying to figure out how to operate the company, not what our logo is going to look like. Because, you know, think about Google. I mean, that's a weird name. If you heard the name before Google was Google.
I mean, I'll beg to differ. There's some really bad names out there.
Yeah. I think
my first company name was really bad. It was a Contractor Tech Shop.
Oh yeah, that's not good.
Yeah, so I went my business 411.
There was a guy in our area. His name was Hell No. That was his roofing company.
Hell
that's a good
Hell
name.
No. Yeah.
Hell No.
Yeah.
Hell No.
Yeah. So
Kind of like it.
Yeah. So
Hell No.
I think a name, you have to have somewhat of a good name, but I don't think between Olympus Home, Olympus
You
Roofing.
know
or
what? We just
something-
got to talk to your business partner about this whole name thing situation.
Yeah,
He's like, look, I don't care about the audit. Don't care about the name. Don't
put
care
me in-
about nothing. Just
Sell.
put me in, coach.
sell and operations. I'm a big operations guy.
Yeah.
I think that's that's a way that we attract good talent is because our operations is bar none. I think we operate better than anybody in our industry and our market. And I think we attract sales guys for that reason, because if you're a sales guy, right, and you're selling roofs, but it's going to junk every time you put a roof on, you can't get referrals, checks are coming in late, you're not getting paid. Our operations division is so efficient that I really want to share that team with the world on how we do it, because the efficiency level of how we do things is just bar none, and that's attracted good talent for us and the way we do.
What's going to be like your last tip for anyone out there? Yeah, who's been through it, right? Maybe came from a similar background. Hey, I don't really have the best examples. Hey, I'm not a second generation roofer.
Whoever they are.
Whoever they are, what would you say to encourage them to keep going on this track to finally one day hit their goals and get to where you're at now?
So I would say, to a Gary Vee quote, just learn to love the process and not try to get, and for me early on, I was so focused. I was like, babe, when we start making $20,000 a month or we make $100,000 a month, like, it's going to be crazy. And I was so focused on the end goal that I didn't learn to love the process. Now I haven't looked at my bank account, I don't know, in probably 6 months or a year. I haven't looked at my bank account. She tells me if there's something wrong. But I know.
Broke again, hon.
Yeah, all right. So I know she's going to let me know. And so I stay focused on the process. I'm not so concerned of doing this tomorrow or accomplishing this next week or next year. I just want to work tomorrow. I'm going to go to the office. I've been doing it here. You can ask my business partner. The first night I was up till 6 a.m. coding. The next night I was up till 4. Last night I was up till 2. I just learned to love the process. I love to work. You can ask my wife. If there's anything that I can do, I want to go to work. I want to go put my head down and grind. And I'm not concerned with where that puts me. I know if I do that for long enough, I end up in a good spot. That'll take care of itself.
Perfect.
So I would say just go to work, man. Don't get too focused on the big names and the doing this or the systems and all this. Just go to work. Just go to work and learn to love that work, and eventually things will pay off.
Well, congratulations
you
on your success. Thank you for sharing your story
Absolutely.
today. It's a very powerful story, very inspiring.
Thank you.
Thank you all for watching another episode of the Only Roofers podcast. We'll catch you guys on the next one.
See you guys.